Hello and welcome. Microsoft loves Linux, and we are going to learn to deploy Microsoft Defender for Endpoint on a group of Linux devices using Ansible. The following will be covered in this lab exercise. So first, we're going to download the onboarding package from the Defender portal. And you have to make sure that the nzip is installed on all of the servers that you need to onboard to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Then when we download the onboarding package and with other file, we're going to transfer all of them to the Ansible control node. And then we're going to create some SSH keys on the control node and share that with all of the managed nodes. And then after that, we're going to install MDE, and then we're going to simulate a threat detection test by downloading an eCar file. And with a real-time protection turned on, that file should be quarantined. So let's get started. So right here, this is going to be my Ansible control node. And this device here would be one of the managed node, and this is also a managed node. So let's look at the download of the onboarding package. So you have to go to your Microsoft Defender center and then go to settings. And then after that, you move to endpoint, then scroll down to onboarding. And the OS type will be Linux server, streamline connectivity. And here, the deployment method, we're going to choose your preferred Linux configuration management. So, and then you click on download. I already downloaded the file, so I'm not going to download that second time. So the next thing that we're going to do is to transfer the file and many other files from this local system. This is my Windows device. So this control node here, this is a Linux device. And actually, when we look at right now, we don't have an MDE folder. So everything will be transferred to an MDE folder. So now let's do the transfer. And this is the command we're going to run. And then when we run that, it's going to copy a bunch of files and then transfer them in here. So now when we do ls, we have the MDE directory created, and then we can navigate to that. And then we can look inside that directory to see what file we have. So we have all of these files here, and then these are what we can use to do some configuration settings and targeting different servers across the network using this Ansible control node. So now the next thing that we're going to do, we need to install Ansible on this system. I already did that, but I will go through the process again. But everything that I'm covering here, all of the written steps are included into my GitHub repository. So you can access that, and then you will get all of the file and all of the steps that you need to do. And now this is a batch script here to kind of automate the process of configuring the control node. So we're going to do that really quick. So the first thing, I cannot run this one here like that. So I need to turn that into an executable. So let me get to that command. And I'm going to change the permission. And then when I do that, now when I look at ls, you see now it's an executable, and then I can run it. And that's what I'm going to run to configure my control node. So it's going to be the config, this one. So I'm going to enter my password. I don't need any passphrase, so I just type enter. I didn't do anything. So it's going to go and then configure this control node for me. And then once this is done, then we're going to go ahead and then run more commands to make sure that we can communicate with all of the managed nodes. And then after that, we're going to onboard the servers to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. And see here, because I already have Ansible configured, and then I'm trying to install that again. So it's doing an upgrade. So it's going to go through everything. to make sure Ansible is installed correctly. So we have to wait on this one. So it's done. So now you see here it said that Ansible is installed correctly, but type exit to exit the shell and start a new shell, and then look at the Ansible version. So I need to do that. And I will type exit. So I'm out of it, and then I am going to connect right back. And then this the device name here. So now I am going to navigate back again to the same MDE directory. And then let me clear the screen. So now the next thing is for me to make sure that I can communicate with all of the control node. And actually, I am not going to be able to do that. I do need to first copy the SSH key from my control node here to my managed nodes. So, and right now, actually, if I go ahead and I do this to try to see, okay, so that's the list of devices. So I have all of that for my devices that I cannot onboard to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So now let's see the next thing. I will copy the SSH key across, and then I need to also do the same thing for the second device. So what I'm doing here is to copy the public key of the control node here onto the different managed nodes. So that's what I did for the two managed nodes. And the managed node would be rel A and deb A here. So these two, finishing with 9 and 10 as IP address, so that the control node can communicate with these two devices here. So that's what I just did. So now, once I have that done, I can see if I can communicate with those devices. So now I'm gonna try to ping them. And you can see it giving me a success. Not only I'm pinging myself, the control node here, but also I'm able to ping this device, rel A, and I can ping this one as well. So now because I can ping those devices, I can go ahead and then install MDE on those devices. So now let's do the next. And we're going to use the prod channel here. So that's what we're going to do. And then, oops, the command is wrong. So I need to fix the command. Okay. So production servers. So now, as you can see, it's gonna go ahead and then start to install MDE on those servers. And if you haven't noticed, when I typed MDE before the installation, you can see that on this command, MDATP, this command didn't work. So it's because MDE wasn't installed, and it's still the same thing. When you check, it's not just not yet installed. But once the installation completes successfully, I will be able to look at the installation status of MDE on these devices. Actually, let me clear the screen here and then wait for the installation to complete, and then we can check all of that. So I need to wait. So now it's installing MDATP. So the MDE application on the devices, and it's done already installing that on Debian based system, and now the Red Hat device is what is installing. So the installation already completed on this device here and this device. This is a Debian device. So actually I can go ahead and even check the status right now. MDATP. So now you can see that when I run this command, I have the result. So that means that MDATP is installed on the device, and actually I can go even ahead and look at the help status. And you can see that I am onboarded, so the device is onboarded to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, then it has the org ID associated with that as well. So right here, the org ID is here, right here. The one thing that you're going to notice, you would see that passive mode is true. And this is the default settings. Actually, everything that you see here is default settings. The one thing also that you can notice here, it's real-time protection enable is false. So this is what we're going to turn on to make sure that when we try to simulate the download of a malicious file, the eCar file, it's quote unquote malicious, but it's not. It's just to test the AV status on this Linux device. So this file will be quarantined. So actually, you see, so the installation completed successfully here on all of the devices, the 3 devices. So the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to check some connectivity. Let me see here. So we just installed, and then actually I'm going to run this command here, and what it's going to do, it's to look at the MDATP or the MDE application and installation status on the 3 different servers that we just onboarded to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So let me run this. Oops, I put the command in the wrong place. I need to run the command right here on the control node. So right here, and then that's the command up. Oops. Having some issues with the system here. So this one, let me fix this. So I should be able to paste this right there. So now when I run this one, it's going to query all of the devices, and then it gives me some status on the device. So you can see that the release ring for the devices, I have a production for one device, and then I input inside a fast for the 2 other devices here. And now also you can see the passive mode is true for all of the devices, and a real-time protection is false. So by running this command here using Ansible, it queried this device, and this device, so all 3 devices, and gave me a status of MDATP or the MDE application status on those devices. So now let's look at the next thing. So now real-time protection, actually I'm going to just test that on this device here. And then I am going to enable real-time protection so that I can download the eCar file. So the value will be set to true. And then I am going to now download the eCar file. So now the eCar file is downloaded onto the user home directory. So now when I do an ls, you don't see the file is gone. So now, while the file is gone, we can look at what really happened to the file. So let's do this. And as you can see here, the file was downloaded right here, and it has been flagged as a virus, the type virus here. And then it has been quarantined. And also this will be reported to the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint portal. We can verify that later. But now the last thing that I'm going to do in this exercise is to look at the connectivity with a Microsoft Defender for endpoint services for all of the devices that are just onboarded to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So I am going to run this connectivity test using Ansible. So it's going to query the connectivity for all of the onboarded devices and give me a report. And I should get okay for all of the devices if the connectivity is correctly established. So you can see that here. So if I go all the way to the top, you would see that for the Red Hat device, so it gives me okay for everything. And then it tested also the connectivity for the added devices as well. The Red Hat, so the Debian at the end, you can see that as well. So it tested that as well, the Debian device here. So now we're good to go. So all of that looks good. So now we can go in the Defender portal itself and look at the onboarding status. So we can go under Asset and then Devices. And as you can see, these are the 3 devices that we just onboarded to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So these 3 devices here. And of course, we don't have good data on them just yet because they just onboarded. So we have to wait for a few minutes to a few hours, and then we'll start to see more data being populated for the devices in the Defender portal. But the Debian device was the one where we tried to download the eCar file and it got quarantined. So if we look at this device, we can go under Incident and Alerts. So you can see that it's already reported the eCar file as malicious within the Defender portal. So we can see all of that here. And actually, because I have done some exercises already in the past, so it was reporting everything, but I want to look at this one specifically here. Yeah, eCar file. All right, so this was the quick exercise on how to use Ansible to onboard servers to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So in summary, what did we accomplish? We onboarded Linux servers, 3 of them, to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint using Ansible. And we also tested MDE detection and remediation capability by downloading an anti-malware test file on a device where real-time protection was turned on and the file was successfully quarantined. And also we were able to verify that from the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint portal. So this concludes the lab exercise, and thank you so much for your time.